Hey gang, I've got the Lasko 22.5 inch 1500 watt tower heater here. And I just wanted to set up a little test and see how well it can warm up this thermometer that's about 2 feet away in about 5 minutes and just see how well it does. So I've got a baseline thermometer down here. It's showing about 49.1 degrees and the thermometer over here is at 48.9. So just a little bit of variation, but I'm just going to turn this towards there, and I've got it set at a distance of about 2 feet apart. And it's just going to come up here, and let's see, we're going to turn it on high and max temperature, and we're going to see how well it can heat this thermometer in 5 minutes. In the meantime, I'm going to go over the features of the tower heater itself, as well as kind of how the remote control works. And I'll just pop this up in the corner with a close-up view of the thermometer so we can keep an eye on how well it's doing. All right, so while that test is running, let's just go over some of the features of the Lesko 1500 watt tower heater. And probably one of the things I like the most is that it does have a remote. And with this remote, you can control all of the functions on the control panel as well. You just don't get the readout that you get up here. So I'm going to set the remote aside and just show you how the readout works and the functions on the control panel works. So we're just going to turn it on. It immediately just comes on to the highest fan setting at max temperature. And really, this temperature range isn't the temperature of the heater itself. What it is like a thermostat. So this is going to try and heat up the room. Basically, it's never going to shut off. But if I set the temp, if I hit it once, it's going to drop down to 70, 75 degrees right there. That means if the room reaches a temperature of 75 degrees, the heater will just shut off. So it's a thermostat like on an air conditioner and other heaters. And you can set the temperature to any one of these positions, even keeping it even a bit cooler. You've also got the ability to set the fan to oscillate, so it'll just kind of move around, which I do think helps heat up the room a little bit better, or a little bit faster. As well as you got a timer, and the timer works a little bit oddly, but it's up to 7 hours. So the first time you hit the button, sets the timer for 1. Second time sets it for 2. Third time, you're adding those two together, so 1 plus 2, 3, then 4, then 5, 6, finally 7, and then no timer at all. So those are all the features there. And like I said, you can also control this from the remote control. One last thing, if you hit the power button a second time, so it's in the high position, that will switch it to low. Low only has a max setting, so I can't change the temperature, it just goes back to high. So if you keep it on low, it's just going to keep running constantly. And then the third time you'll hit the power button, it totally turns off. So those are the features of the Lasko tower heater. Now let's see how well it did in the time lapse on the thermometer test. All right, so we're just coming up on the 5 minute mark. And let's see here, we are at 74.5 degrees in 5 minutes, and just kind of the baseline temperature was 50.2. So this was about 49.1, I think. So this did kick up a degree. Makes sense. It's right next to the heater. But we were able to warm this up, and it's still going. So we were able to warm this up over 24 degrees in the course of 5 minutes. So I've always been really impressed with this little Lesko tower heater, and I use it to heat up my workshop space. And I thought this would just be a cool test to see how well it does. And I think you really like it.